Greetings. This is Brother David Murphy speaking. Look, I'm making this video because a lot of things have happened to me in the last several days. And it was life altering as far as I'm concerned. But, I'm a God fearing man. I believe in God. I believe in my mission. I believe quite a few things, but I also believe that when you go to God, you have to go in honesty and in truth. And I understand sometimes the truth, or it maybe does make you free. I'm not a minister. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm just a man who's talking to you straightforward. And the reason I'm doing this is because there may be other people out there who have going through or have been through what I've been through. And I spent a lifetime paying dividends for what I didn't do. And so that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing. I'm making amends, or some may say an atonement, for my lack of understanding. And they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's what man says in man's laws. But see, we operate on three levels of laws. This is from my perspective. There's God laws, which is the highest. There's natural laws, second, and then there's man laws. And most of us, matter of fact, all of us have to operate in all three. And so, but I'm coming from the highest point, God's law. And again, those who don't know me, this is a little bit about myself. I publish a newspaper called the National Black Unity News. And I also built one of the largest websites in the nation that highlights black organizations and businesses. We are currently starting a nationwide black business directory. And informally, I used to publish a paper called The Informer. And I cut my teeth on a program called Togetherness Unlimited with a discounted record that kept money circulating in our communities. Now, what I want to share with you is this. I've been out there for a long time. And to my own knowledge, or to my limited knowledge, I was putting in work to my ability, to man's law ability. And I made some input, but I didn't do all I could do. And this is one of the reasons why I'm making atonements for, because of my lack of understanding. A lot of businesses and a lot of people have been hurt. Because there are a thing called, when I say natural law, it was called cause and effects. Because of my lack of understanding, a lot of businesses may have closed up. Because of my lack of understanding, it only go down to murder, because when you don't have economic empowerment, people perish. Lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, people perish. It is written in the Bible. Now, you don't have to believe in the Bible. I'm just saying that it's three sets of law. For me and my house, I accept God on my own terminology. You have to do the same for yourself. But this, I had a evolution or revolution or epitome, whatever you want to call it, the other day. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. As I said before, I go to God in honesty and truth, so now I must come to you in honesty and truth. Because I know in my heart of hearts, I hurt you all. I hurt my people, black people, melanated people, indigenous people, people with their roots in Africa. You see, God has truly blessed me. As confused as I am, he chose me to do some powerful and wonderful things. Even I myself am amazed at what I was able through God to accomplish over the many years that I've been out there on the front lines on the battlefield, as I call myself. And I've helped a lot of people. I even consider myself a servant of servants. That's what I do best. I help people to get to where they want to go. But there was a big problem with that scenario. I helped all types of people over the years. Millionaires, people got program, organization. I assisted in a lot of things. But there was always an issue with me. I was good at helping other people, but I wasn't too cool at helping myself. I always put people above me, and I never could figure that out. Like I said, I help businesses grow and prosper. I help individuals grow and prosper over the years. Many people, and too numerous even to count. But there was a problem. All these years I've been living in on the financial state on man's law, impoverished. I could help everybody else but myself. Because I couldn't help myself, I couldn't help you better. And again, that's one of the reasons why I'm making this atonement. You see, like I say, those who know me, I come to you in honesty and truth, and I'm just going to bear my heart up because I really believe that somebody's out there may be going through or have been going through or will go through what I'm about to share with you now. You see, I'm 68 years old. Been there and done that, done a lot of things. And people have come to me over the years. Now, I'm going to tell you, I ain't all of that. I'm just straight up. I dropped out in the sixth grade, teenage alcoholic. Uh, 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 and that's when my problems really began. Back in the day, when I was 13 years old, I came up in an environment, man, moved into a white community where we wasn't accepted. And so black people from all over the city came together. I live in Baltimore. We came to Evanston Village, was a predominantly white community. And so people came from the Cherry Hills, east side, west side, north side, and they moved to this Evanston Village because blacks was penetrating. And this was in the early 60s, 61 when I moved up here. And there had been one or two families up here in the 59, 58, but that's when we first started penetrating up here. And then later on, we overtook the community. But because of the condition that we moved in when we first moved here, we had to kind of hang out with one another. People younger, 12, 13 years old, hang out for 18 and 19 years old because it was strength and safety in numbers. We had to fight, literally fight when we came out the houses. We had to pull together. I don't care what age we do. If you was black, we pulled together. I don't care what part of town you came from, we pulled together. But I picked up some bad habits. I ended up drinking with some of the older guys, and I liked the way it made me feel because not only did I move into a white community, then I had to go to a predominantly white school, and I felt inferior. It's just me. That's just my own thing. And I felt less than because I didn't have what they had. That was pretty much the only reason. But when I started partaking of that alcohol, it made me kind of forget my inhibitions and kind of brought me out in another way, but I couldn't let it go. And that lasted all the way up to the age of 27. You see, ladies and gentlemen, as I grew older, this is the confession I want to make to you, and it bothers me, so please bear with me. You see, as I grew older in my early 20s and things like that, and some of my family and friends, they was getting married and having happy life, and I'm still drinking. I always kept myself up and always had a job or something, but that was it. That was my whole day: work, drink, and repeated the cycle to the point where I couldn't stop drinking. Well, it was consequences if I did stop drinking. I would go into seizures and DTs. I'm a young man. Going every time I would stop drinking when I went through withdrawals, I would go into a seizure. And I would actually see things, what they call DTs, as we call them. I know some more terminology for that word, and I even committed myself into many hospitals that deal with alcoholism. Many of them, Spring Grove, the Turk houses, and all of them. Many times over, I would commit my own self because I knew I had an issue. But in the meantime, while I was going through all of those transformations and DTs and everything else, I got to the point in life I couldn't even look at myself because I was truly ashamed of myself. Because I knew better, I knew I could do better. I knew I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't out to hurt nobody. But because my stuff was self-inflicted, it still spilled over to my own family and friends. I embarrassed them so badly back in them days because I embarrassed myself, and I know if I was feeling well, I figured they were feeling the same way too. I put them through so much turmoil, and through the grace of God, ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 27, I came out. And I was clean. I mean, man, I did all sorts of things. That's how I started the newspaper, got GD, took up a trade, and did all of them wonderful things. And a lot of people forgave me for the actions that I took. I tried to forgive myself. But there was a deep seated thing that I was not able to do. And this may help somebody else out there. It's easy as far as I'm concerned to forgive other people, but it was very difficult, almost impossible for me to forgive myself for what I did to myself back in those days, and especially what I did to my family. Then, bro, just thinking about it, it breaks my heart to know that was me that acted like that. I know, when you was a child, you act like a child. That was yesterday. People will say, well, you did things yesterday. You ain't the same person you was yesterday. Yes, I understand all of that. But there's some things that hold on to us, that keep us hostage. And this thing had kept me hostage all my life until last week. This is November, the day after Thanksgiving, 2019. And I'm saying this for the record. 2 years ago today, I was just being released from a nursing home because I had open heart surgery. You can see the little thing there, and I just came out I was in a nursing home for 30 days for rehabilitation. And and God has brought me. And like I said, I had a multitude of things that God has brought me. God has carried me every step of the way. And I like to say, I'm sent. I even confess to God, here I am, Lord, send me. I asked to be a soldier, and I got the baddest scars to prove it. But there was one thing I could never figure this out. Never. How I was able to help so many people. How? And never could help myself. I mean, I run I deal with a lot of professional people, business people, social people, doing wonderful and great things, and our system had no problem. But when it comes to me personally, I have an extremely difficult time, and I could never figure this out. Never. People that came, I'm being straight up. I'm just like I say, this is honesty and truth. People that come up to me and say, David, I mean, sir, this day say you're a genius. I've been told it several occasions. Somebody say the things that you do, man, is amazing. And I, like I said, even the newspaper. See, I published this newspaper. Excuse me. The national. This is a physical newspaper, ladies and gentlemen. Physical. And I do the layout, the designs. I put most of the people in there, and I've done this even back in the day when I was doing the informative newspaper. I put the whole paper, and I was the photographer, I was the salesperson, I was the writer. I mean, I did everything from A to Z. And people would tell me, say, David, man, you do a lot of work. You say, and some people would even tell me I was a lie. They're just by myself, especially when I dropped out in the 7th grade. And they found it to see God was carrying me. God is for everything I do is by divine inspiration, but still there was a principle I couldn't not get past. I walked into some of these local newspapers. They had 40, 50 people doing the same job that I was doing, one man. That's a miracle within itself. But I could never figure this thing out, why I could do so much for so many, but myself living impoverished, always struggling, putting people first, and all of these opportunities. See, I sit on a gold mine. This is a powerful tool. I mean, I don't want to get into all about the paper, but I want to let people know out here this. Until this last week, I happened to be listening to a sermon on TV, and they were talking about, forgiveness. They were talking about this story. Some of you familiar with the story with the lady uh, who was caught in adultery. And some of the villagers of the town people brought her to Jesus, and they was ready to stone her because they say from the law of Moses, man's law or God's law, they were saying is that she should be stoned. And I'm always analytic. I like to do research, and I was saying to myself, "Where's the man at? How could she do this by herself?" And then I say, "Then where all these people come from accusing her?" Because they was was a mob of them. They wasn't all in the bedroom, or they were just going by hearsay. See, and media is a powerful tool. That's why I look at things. See, media can persuade. It's medium, intermediate. That's what media means. And I always stood in the gap. I always stood in the gap for my people. But yet here I am apologizing to you because I was not effective enough, because I was lacking. And that's why I'm making atonements now to you, is this. And just till last week when I was talking, and then getting back to that story, God said what Jesus said. Some people say they weren't in the same. But he told those people, that mob, those of you who are without sin, cast the first stone. From the eldest all the way down, they begin to walk away. Then Jesus looked up at the lady and said, "Where are your accusers?" And she said, "I don't see any." I'm paraphrasing this. And he said, "Neither do I accuse you." But then he told her to go and sin no more. And so, by just listening, then I had what somebody call it epiphany. Like I said, everything I've done in the past, I know when God moves me. I don't know about you, but I know when he moves me. But then, just a couple of days ago, I had an experience that released me. And it was all dealing with forgiveness. You see, when I was telling you when I was a teenage alcoholic, and the pain, the stress that I caused my family members, to me, that was the unforgivable sin. That's just me personally. Because just thinking about it, I could say, how could I have done that? Especially these were the only people when I was going through so many changes that stood by me, stood up, and I had only a few friends that was in my corner. Everybody laughed about me, talked about me like a dog and everything else. But my family stood there, stood firm. My mother, my brothers, man, how could I have done that to them? Even in my sick state of mind, that was unforgivable to me. And just into the other day, I couldn't, like I said, I tried to forgive myself for that. That was yesterday. But then it took me to a step deeper than that. And again, remember I said I was wondering why I could help so many people and couldn't help myself. I got grandchildren, man. My house was falling in on my head, and I'm sitting on riches. I mean, the thing that God. I mean, financially, I could be making. It's a wonder I ain't a multi-billionaire billionaire now. I'm serious, and I couldn't. Why can't I help me? Because of that sin, that one sin, or that thing that I couldn't forgive myself for. It was a little deeper than that. Not only was I ashamed, but the epiphany came when I found, when it dawned on me, because I never thought I was worthy of anything. Because the hurt and pain that I caused so many, from that day, even way back then, I never thought I was worthy. I always put people higher than I was. I always think people were better than I am. Here I am. I was just grateful enough to thank God that he brought me out of that situation and carried me. But for that was the epitome for me. I didn't know that I was capable, that I was supposed to or could. But at the same time, there's principles. I said they're natural principles and they're God's principles. Because I never thought highly of myself. I never thought I deserved nothing. That's why I had nothing. That's why I had nothing. Then, that was yesterday. That was a few days ago. And then I was able to see that God, God looks at all of us equal. God, there's all types of scriptures and just natural laws. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to take care of their families. Everybody wants to leave an inheritance to their children and their children's children. I'm no different. But for some reason, I thought I wasn't even worthy of that. But today, that was yesterday. And this, I want to apologize to those who are listening to me now because of this. Because I didn't think I was worthy of anything, so I could not fully function in my full strength. God has blessed me with powerful tools. Powerful tools. And because I'm cluttered up in my mind and my spirit and everything else, I was not able to do my job properly. That was yesterday. And I'm asking you for forgiveness for my lack of understanding of forgiveness, my lack of understanding of my own self. But that was yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope and pray that you forgive me because I finally, Lord, thank you, forgave myself. And God has been forgiving me. Everybody else had been forgiven. Just David Murphy was holding up David Murphy. And if those of you out there that's holding on to something that you think is so unforgivable, God is able to forgive you. He will forgive you. But you have to learn deep down inside, if I get to the root of the problem, learn to forgive yourself. And that's why I'm making this atonement. But again, that was yesterday. Now, for the first time in my life, ladies and gentlemen, that I can recall, I feel like a free man. I am released. I'm so grateful to God, and I'm so grateful to the epiphany. I'm so God, thankful for that revelation. So now I can go out now and do my job. You see, one of the worst things can happen to a person like me, to any people. I've seen it happen over and over again. People going to their grave not fulfilling their mission, their God-given purpose. And that's one of the worst things that can happen to a person, especially somebody like me who wants to not only help my people, but I want to help future generations as well. That's what God put in my hands, opportunities that can help not only help me, help us. You business people out there, like I said, because I wasn't fully effective, businesses may not have opened. Businesses may have failed. And I know people will say, Dave, you can't take on all of that. Yes, it is. There are causes and effects in life. If you don't work and take care of your family, and your family get put out in the street, then that's on you. Your family members, they suffering from it because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. And that's the same thing I'm saying, because I didn't do what I was supposed to do back then, or even all these years. I was somewhat effective, but I could have been more effective. And that was yesterday. Now, David I'm cleared up now. Straightforward. I'm taking off the, well, in other words, I'm moving forward. And for those of you who are out there right now, I'm still a servant of servant. I'm still here to serve you, but now I can serve you more effectively. And if this can help somebody who's going through some things, and I'm going to say this to you, you know that thing they call that peace that passes all understanding. I thought I had it many times, but this is nothing. I'm on a different plane now. Now that I got rid of this bondage that was holding me back, man, it's such a powerful release. And all I'm saying to you, I don't know who you worship to or how higher power, whatever you call it, but you must understand one thing. In God's laws, natural laws, as well as man laws, everybody wants to succeed in all of these things in natural law. What you put in is what you're going to get out of. If you go in there effective, you get out. And even God laws. God had a set of principles. If you do these things, I don't care if you saved or not, these certain principles still work. And so now, with all the tools, the wisdom, and everything else that God has blessed me with, I'm not now able to pour it out fully and effective on you. And I hope that you forgive me. I just want to share this with a few people. Matter of fact, whomever may see this video is this. Let go, man. Let go of your past. You can even let go yesterday. See, I ain't the same person I was 10 years ago. I ain't the same person I was, matter of fact, last week. 2 hours ago, really. I'm constantly evolving. That's the way life is. You constantly evolve. And so I thank you for your time. And if I could be of any service to you, I've been a servant for a long time, but now I can do it more effectively. And I just want to thank you, and I hope that this may help somebody. Thank you. Take care.